The green arrow redistributes the wealth, this time as an anthropomorphic fox.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Louise.
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 61.
61.
Happy birthday to
Oh,
you.
me.
You!
Happy birthday
Mickey.
to Michelle.
Oh, me. Not
It
Mickey.
is Michelle's birthday
When we're recording.
on the day of recording.
The 14th of January.
You know what's really funny is that Louise was very hard trying to convince me. Very hard.
Very hard.
Very
Trying to convince.
Sir.
very seriously trying to
Seriously.
convince me that your birthday was on the 16th.
Mm,
And I was like,
That's Andres.
that's me.
but not in 2 days.
I'm
February.
February 16th.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you ain't, no. I ain't got time for two
You ain't
birthdays in 1
28
week.
yet.
Oh, God, no, that means I'm going to be 28 soon. I can't. Okay, anywho, long story short, he was so, serious.
adamant.
Her birthday's on the 16th. And I was like, no, it's
That's hilarious.
not. He was confusing me. I won't even lie. It got to the point where I was
Where
kind
you
of
were like, is it her birthday?
"Ooh." And then he's like, well, and her birthday celebration is on Saturday. I mean, come on. And I was like, what does that have to do with anything? I literally
that
for
means.
2 days was
That's
like, I don't
literally
even
just
know.
an excuse to me to go to brunch is all it is.
I was like, I don't know what day it is now.
It's
No,
weird
I still
'cause
knew.
After I'm 25, which was last year,
Yesterday.
feels like it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Just kind of stopped caring about how old I was and celebrating my birthday.
She forgot several times throughout the year how old she was.
Yeah,
I
my
know
brain didn't
because
work
she
that
asks
way
me
anymore.
all the time.
I actually ask you all the time, too.
That's right.
I thought
Both
I
of you
was
have
already-
bad memories.
I couldn't remember if I was 24 or 26, which was both wrong because I was 25. But I'm 26 now. So, we're just going up
It's
from
called
here.
quarter life century, people.
It's called after 25, nothing exciting happens when you turn an age. So,
This week, we are talking about the 1973 Disney animated film Robin Hood.
I'm looking at Emily's paper and it says Robin in the Hood.
It literally says Robin in the Hood.
I was
Oh.
like, that's all we watch? Nah, just Robin Hood.
Is there a movie called Robin in the Hood?
There
That would
is
be
a
funny.
movie called Leprechaun in the Hood.
That's disgusting. What?
So
Not the same. Okay.
close. Green.
Green hat. Boom.
Yes. Yeah. This
First
movie called
impression,
Robin
Andre.
Hood. First impression. So I had to watch this movie 2 times.
That's because you fell asleep.
Because I fell asleep the first time. Hey, guess
Also,
what?
it wasn't
Fun
because
fact.
he didn't like the movie. It's because he was tired.
Fun fact. Fell asleep the second time too.
Oh
my
well, it might
God.
have been because he didn't like the movie. then.
No. I enjoyed it, but I did sleep through most of it both times I watched it. So I had to re-watch a bunch of times, and it just wasn't as well, it's not as enjoyable as just watching a movie straight through.
Yeah.
Sometimes
then it feels like a chore.
sometimes
like,
your
I have to
body
finish this movie.
is fighting you against enjoying entertainment, and I don't like when my body does that, but it does it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I get sleepy.
So do you have a first impression
So
on
for the
movie?
movie, yeah, pretty good. Not good enough to watch like 2.5 times, but pretty good. First
Okay,
impression.
my first impression is meh.
Meh.
I'm only saying that because I watched this movie a week ago and I don't remember it. So if I don't remember it, it wasn't that memorable. But I do remember
True.
liking the first half and not liking the second half. Emily, first impression.
I liked it.
Like,
I liked it.
It was okay.
I like.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Solid like.
Solid.
Babe,
like.
you didn't send me the notes. That's rude.
Oh well, I didn't.
He straight up 5 seconds ago said he didn't take any
I did not
notes,
take
so
any
you weren't
notes.
listening.
Oh.
So that's why I got sent to you.
He didn't take any notes because he was sleeping.
I was
Well,
asleep.
Fellow people, you will not get notes this week because he was asleep.
You ever, when you used to be in class and you would like be writing and then falling asleep and then writing and you're still writing even though you're asleep, and when you look back at your paper, it's just a bunch of squiggly lines.
That has never happened to me.
What?
but no, never once.
I'm the only sleepy person here.
I never had squiggly lines on my paper.
I had it almost every day. Squiggly
I
lines.
had doodles. I had doodles up the boodle.
I had some doodles too.
I liked taking notes. It was very cathartic.
Anyway,
Cathartic.
I did
Like
that.
the way you said that.
Cathartic.
I did that, but with a computer keyboard. So
No,
I just
I don't like
deleted
typing.
it.
So then you just didn't pay attention.
Yeah,
All right.
alas.
Moving on.
We'll ask Luis what his first impression is later because he's soccer gaming.
Yep.
Yeah,
In the
Luis-
rain,
Luis
probably.
is absent.
In the rain.
And singing in the rain.
Moving along.
Robin Hood.
Singing in the
This is a
rain.
movie about
Oodalali all day.
a rooster that can
Right.
play the guitar.
I like the rooster.
Yep. Allan-A-Dale.
Allan-A-Dale.
Alana-Dale. So I was going to say like Lana Del Rey. Alana-Dale Rey. Rooster. Lana-Dale Rooster.
I had to write down what each thing was because I was confused. He's a rooster.
So there's Alana-Dale.
Yes, he was a
He's the rooster.
Robin Hood's a fox.
Robin Hood is a fox.
Sly.
A sly fox.
Then there's a girl fox.
A lady fox. A maid fox.
A maiden.
Maiden fox.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bear.
Little John.
Little John. What?
What was that one
Oh, I get it. Well, okay.
Yeah.
part? Oh.
Yeah.
Little
Little
John.
John.
Um.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah.
That's Usher.
I know. He's in that song though. And then there's the Sheriff of Nottingham.
He's a wolf, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's a wolf with a southern accent.
Then I liked the little kid turtle. He was
Yeah.
cute.
He was. Prince John was a
Lion and Sir
Yes.
Hiss.
Oh, Mr. Hiss, of course.
hiss.
Mr. Hiss.
Sir
Sir
Hiss.
Hiss.
Sorry.
Get it right.
Took his knighthood away. My bad, Sir Hiss. Yeah, he is Snake.
Yes, so we have all of the characters of a typical Robin Hood story. They are just cartoon animals.
Yeah, anthropomorphic animals. And I think this is the 21st Disney movie, and it's the first movie with all animals since Bambi.
Oh, wow.
The really cool thing about this, though, is that I think they chose the animals pretty well. Like, the animal per what the character is.
Sure,
Yeah, it
yeah.
fits.
If that makes sense.
Like
Like,
the king can't be a turtle. It wouldn't work. He has to be a lion.
yeah.
That's what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I was just imagining the king as a turtle.
So was I. The little kid turtle as Prince John
Yeah.
sucking his thumb.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, gosh.
Man,
yes.
Prince John got issues.
Prince John's a hot mess. He needs to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start on the story, and then we'll work our way backwards to therapy. Go ahead.
What happens in the beginning?
Robin Hood and Little John walking through the
Yep,
forest.
there's a rooster.
Oodle-lolly, 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 hey.
Narrating.
The best part is
That's what
that
happened
Michelle
first.
has never seen this movie besides this time,
Yeah,
and she knows the song. That's the best part.
because I like doing oaky sounding voices.
And she knows the song. Like,
Yes.
that's fantastic.
Okay, sounding
That's what happened.
voices.
So the narrator, Allan-A-Dale.
Allan-A-Dale.
The
Allan-A-Dale.
rooster.
The rooster runs in. Actually, let's back up. This actually had a really cool opening
credits.
sequence.
Yes,
Yeah, it did.
it was nice. It had like the little
It was the
figures.
It was the
What
hamster
have you-
dance.
I'm done with you.
It was the
done.
hamster dance song. Okay.
No, it was the crazy frog.
No, I thought it was the hamster dance
It
song.
might be both of those.
Anyways, there-
No,
no, it's the hamster
That.
dance. And then I remember saying, "It's the hamster dance."
Yes.
So they stole it from Robin Hood.
Yes.
Right.
But it was a cool opening sequence. It kind of reminds me of Bedknobs and Broomsticks,
Yeah.
where we got like that opening sequence where it kind of told you like the whole story that's going on.
Right.
These older movies tended to do that, where they just threw the credits up front and they made like a whole opening animation sequence out of it.
Yeah,
so
like
we
the
kind of got
storybook.
that old style of animation there.
And then we close in on
Robin Hood, Little John walking through the forest.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
Oodle-lotty, oodle-lotty, hey. And they do that.
Yeah.
The best part is this is supposed to be in, England.
I know.
Right.
And they sound like the rooster sounds like super oaky.
So the reason for that
Oh, please.
is
Please share.
that apparently when they were first producing this movie, it was in production for a long time. But when they finally started getting down to it, they were thinking about not having it set in England, but having it set in the deep South to
Going
kind of
down the
emulate.
bayou.
No, to
Oh.
kind of emulate Song of the South. And that was
And slavery?
and that was nixed because we were like, oh well, there's some controversy around Song of the South. Maybe we shouldn't
You know what's
tread that well again.
Let's.
Well, they didn't want to change the song after.
I mean, they had already.
It was
cast
already
everybody,
done.
It's already
so-
done.
You know what's
Right.
really funny about that whole thing? Have we ever talked about what we learned about Song of the South on the
I don't think
podcast?
so.
We might have talked about it on the crack or something, but
Well, let's just talk about it for like 2 seconds because we're not ever going to do that.
No, we're
it's
not.
So we might as well just throw it out there. The fact that this movie might have or could have emulated, that is hilarious. So pretty much, this is one of our listeners. This is how I learned about Song of the South because I'll be honest, I knew it was a movie.
All I know is that it's Splash Mountain. That's it.
Yes.
Right.
I knew that
Splash
the characters were from Splash Mountain, but I knew
I
nothing
don't
else
know the
about
story though. I just know there's a fox and a bear and they're trying to get eaten.
it's
I don't
zippity
know.
doo dah.
it. And there's just like a weird like trip in the middle somewhere,
Yeah, I don't
and you're
know.
a little worried about acid, but who knows? And battery acid, who knows? Whatever kind. Anywho,
Battery acid.
I'm trying to make it kid friendly.
Oh.
Anywho, long story short, one of our listeners who we're dear friends with, she was up here from Southern California. Up here, we're in the center of California, and she goes, "Hey Emily, I have like a copy of Song of the South. If you ever want to see it or do it on the podcast." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean? What do you mean like a copy?"
Mhm.
Well, and she's like, "Well, it's like it's not really like authorized."
What?
And I was like, "What do you mean?"
I don't
and
remember
the
this.
best part about this is I don't think my friend, our friend, knows like what the word bootleg means. Like she
No.
definitely had like
She
a
got a bootleg Song of the South.
She definitely had, because she's explaining it to me. She's like, the color's really off. It's like hard to see.
Probably
She
because
got
that
a bad
movie is
bootleg
deep in the
of
vault
Song
and
of
it's probably
the
never
South.
coming out of the vault.
I'm like, are you telling me you have a bootleg copy? And she's like, well, I mean, I guess so.
That's
Long-
hilarious.
Long story short, I'm like,
Fantastic.
well, why didn't you just buy it? And she goes, Emily, you can't buy this
You can't
movie.
buy it.
I'm like, what do you mean you can't buy it? See, I had no idea.
I didn't either.
Long story short, she's like, it's a little racist. And then I'm like, well, then why do you want us to do it on the podcast? And she's like, no, I'm not saying I want you to do it. I'm just saying, like, if
If you do,
if you want to see it, you
Got
can
it.
watch it.
I mean, I want to watch it, but like, I don't want to do it on the podcast.
I'm reading the Wikipedia article for Song of the South. It says, cultural historian Jason Spurb describes the film as one of Hollywood's most resiliently offensive racist texts.
Oh God! Why is Splash Mountain still a ride?
I'm only laughing because it's like, Disney, come on.
They
but
just
they
messed
probably
up
took
so
all
bad.
of that out of Splash Mountain. That now it's
Oh,
just like
for
animals
sure.
frolicking, possums trying not to get eaten.
Yeah. It sounds like
About
a
it.
normal
Everybody's
Fairy
got a
tale at that
laughing
point.
place. Yeah.
But anywho, so it was quite hilarious because we almost could have done Song of the South until we watched it apparently, and then we
Oh, can you imagine if we had announced that we were doing Song of the
will
South?
be doing Song of the South next week. Not. Anywho, so
Yeah.
the fact that this was trying to emulate that is extra
This movie
hilarious.
was almost built on the backs of Song of the South. But Song of the South came out in the 40s, and this movie didn't come out until 1973.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were having
So for 30 years they thought, maybe.
right. So they were having issues like getting this movie together, like off the ground. They weren't sure how they wanted to do it. They were thinking about dipping into live action and stuff like that. And then when they were thinking about doing it with animation, they were thinking about doing Songs of the South or not all anthropomorphic animals. And then eventually they had wanted in the past to do a story about Reynard the fox.
Yes, I
which
read
is an
that.
old story.
Old.
Old,
The oldest.
Old story, so they decided to get this slightly newer story and throw it on top of
Apparently,
Reynard the Fox.
can I give you the Reynard the Fox down low?
Yeah, please.
Apparently, they had been looking towards Reynard the Fox since the 30s. Okay, that like they'd been wanting to do a movie about Reynard.
Yeah.
And it's the 70s now, so it took 40 years for them to be like, right?
I guess so.
And this
Throw
lesser known
Reynard in
fable is from the how do you even say 1100s? 1100s?
Oh my gosh. What the heck?
The 1100s.
And he's
Well,
a
then.
scoundrel fox, but apparently he's much more villain than he is anti-hero.
Right.
So they
Oh.
couldn't get like a good script because
He's a bad guy.
he's like not good at all. There's no redeeming
That's
qualities.
so random.
So
Right.
they were like, well, we'll just do Robin Hood and make him
And
kind
he'll
of
be a fox.
I mean, at this point, I don't know
Boom.
how many different Robin Hood iterations
Oh,
there's been, but
that's a good question.
there's been so many Robin Hoods that I lose track.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, when I was looking up facts, I had to type in Robin Hood Disney or Disney Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Because it was trying to give me like,
That new Hood movie.
oh
There's
yeah,
like a new
Yeah.
one.
Robin Hood
Yeah.
with Taron Egerton. There's the one with Errol Flynn. There's the one with
The
Crow.
Arrow is Robin Hood, okay?
Oh yeah, Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. Also,
there's one from 2018 called Robin Hood.
Yeah,
I didn't see it, but
This is the one with Jamie
also
Foxx.
Andre and I watched.
Oh, ha! It does have Jamie Foxx.
Andre and I watched Shrek after this recently.
We watched it
Bomb
almost right
movie.
after Robin Hood.
Bomb movie, which was pretty fitting because Robin Hood comes on in that, and
And he
he's
has
like,
a song and it's
"It's
hilarious.
He's got
so
he's got
good."
all of his merry men, and they're getting it. They're
and you know,
dancing
I've been
around.
singing that song all day.
He's mad. He's really, really mad.
I steal from the rich and give to the needy.
and
Something
I'm
about-
not greedy.
And I'm not greedy.
Yes. So,
And then she
yeah.
punches him in the face.
Robin Hood is also a super old character. He is
Yes.
apparently from the 13th or 14th century.
He's
Um,
kind of like Aladdin. Kinda.
Well, he is. He's like a legend. So it's possible that a Robin Hood guy was real,
Existed.
or that there was a group of people that called themselves Robin Hood
And the
or-
Merry Men.
Yes, and his merry men.
Their
Who
first
would-
appearance was in the 13th century. So at least
Yeah.
they're a little bit newer than
Yeah.
1100s.
Old
Only
Reynard
only
over
a
there.
couple hundred years older.
Robin Hood's fresh. He's hot.
That's ridiculous.
He is hot, at least in the Robin Hood Men in Tights version where the guy from Princess Bride plays
Yeah.
Robin Hood, Wesley.
That's the Errol Flynn one, I believe.
Oh, is that his name?
I think so.
I don't know.
Or
I
is
just
that
know-
a different
But
guy?
you know
I
what's
don't
It's just, it's Hottie in Tights.
You know what's the same across all Robin Hoods is that women swoon over him. Like,
Truth. Well, he's like James Bond.
yeah, like they were. Chicken and Foxy were swooning over him in this one.
Chicken and Foxy.
Which, by the way, I really liked the chicken.
Chicken and Fox.
Maid Marian.
Maid Marian and the Clucker.
And Lady
Mrs.
Cluck.
Lady Cluck, I was close. Okay, I said the Clucker. I liked Lady Cluck. She was
Lady
funny.
Cluck should have hung out with Friar Tuck.
Lady Cluck, Friar Tuck. That would have been a weird relationship because the friar was kind of a weird friar.
Well, I
but
mean, he's a friar.
Emily's dying because I said, what did I say? The fox and the chickie?
I don't even know why I'm laughing. It's just ridiculous.
Because you're pregnant. It's fine.
But you don't laugh when you're pregnant. You cry.
I don't know.
And now she's crying.
The
Oh,
point
boy.
is, all the ladies swoon over Robin Hood,
That's true.
and there's no exception in
this
this version.
animated version.
So, like every other Robin Hood story, he and his merry men.
We're in the forest.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
What? They
I
are.
hate you so much.
An integral part of the story is that they're in the forest. Is Robin Hood, merry men, forest.
I was just making sure you
You know
knew.
what's really funny is that this one wasn't that many merry men. Wasn't it just
No,
him and the
No,
it's
little
it's
just
Lil
Lil
Jon.
Jon. They cut out the merry man. It was too many characters.
I'm okay with that. Long story
I like the
short,
merry men.
they steal from the rich and give to the needy,
I
just
steal
like
from
Shrek
the
said.
rich and give to the needy.
And-
Take some for myself, but I'm not greedy.
And when they do that, they then give everything, like they said, give everything back to the poor. But I guess where I'm confused, I'm like really confused about everyone's like relationship, like
okay.
how we know each
Well, I
other.
think Maid Marian and Robin
Hold
Hood.
on, no, I need to back up farther than that.
Oh, really?
Hold on. So there was a king of Sherwood Forest, or king of England.
Yes.
King Richard.
King
King
Richard.
Richard.
Mhm. King Richard is off fighting in the Crusades.
Okay.
Well,
So-
no, he's not in this version. In this version,
Hiss,
Sir
like-
Hiss hypnotized him and sent him on a quest.
Man, darker stuff.
He
Dang.
hypnotized
So,
him with his eyeball.
His brother, Prince John, is taken over as the leader.
So he's like,
yes.
what's the word for that?
He's like
usurping
Scar.
him. He is.
He's Scar. No, he's like
filling in. He's
like Lord of the
he's
Rings.
out of class.
What do you call that?
Out of class.
he's in an outclass king position.
We know all about that.
I work
Governmental workers.
Working
he's
HR,
next
dude.
in line.
Okay, so he's taken over during the time that King Richard has hypnotized.
And off on a quest.
So then you have in the royal party.
Sir Hiss.
Well, he's like an advisor. He's
Yes.
a vizier.
He's a vizier. Yeah.
Sir Sheriff of Nottingham.
No, I need to know
Oh.
how does Maid Marian fit into that? They're
She's
lions.
just like a
So,
lord,
Maid Marian-
lord's daughter.
Yeah, I think she's like
She's of noble blood.
Yeah, of noble birth.
So
I don't know
that's
where
all
her.
we know.
I don't know where her dad and mom are.
We just know that she's of noble birth. So I'm assuming
Okay.
Robin Hood and her hung out when they were kids because they were foxes, like hanging out in the forest.
when you know on the fox on the block, you gotta drive somewhere else to hang out with the other foxes. You can't just be hanging out with the ducks and the turtles
Listen,
and
the
the rabbits
forest-
and the
around.
clucks.
The forest is the stomping ground that brings all the animals of different bloods together, okay? So they went to the forest, they were hanging out, and then she had to go be a lady.
Yeah.
Oh, she went to school or something in England. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that they said that she left.
Right.
And then she came back, and now she's like stuck in this castle thing with Clucky.
Yeah,
Right.
Clucky.
Clucky.
Who was basically like
Clucky and the
her
prince.
assistant.
Yeah.
Person,
I
her
mean,
friend.
a friend.
Okay, I guess I was confused because I was like, please don't tell me that like she's the sister to Lil John.
No, different
Oh.
animals.
Not Little John, excuse me.
To Prince John.
To Prince John.
No,
there's two
different
Johns.
animals.
There's
different
two
animals.
Johns.
There's 2 Johns in
That's
this.
really annoying. I know they're
John.
different animals in the
Little
show.
John Prince. Little John and Prince John walking through the forest.
I like how she's telling me they're different animals.
No. Well, I was justifying your answer.
Okay,
Anyway, Maid Marian is
royal.
royal.
And then I don't know. So is the kingdom just in Nottingham, or is that the town outside of the kingdom?
I think Nottingham is a town that the king is going through
Mm-hmm. He's traveling
while
through.
he's collecting his taxes.
Got you. So that's probably the town that Robin Hood is
As
from.
soon as he sat in
Nottingham.
that seat, he's like, tax hike. Everybody pay me now.
He just
It's
wants
actually
money.
working out really well for him, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's raking it in.
If he was not stupid, no offense, but if he was not like literally uneducated in
Right.
how this works,
Mhm.
he's actually getting it.
Yeah. If
That's
he had
true.
done it at a 3% rate instead of a 300% rate, he would have been able
He
to
bled-
carry this thing out for years.
He bled them too dry too fast. Like, you gotta wait
And
it
then he
out,
just
bro.
started-
No
He
money
just started
left.
throwing them in jail because they have no money. I'm
Yes.
like, you're not going to get any more money.
Right.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. He
Let's
didn't
move
think it
on.
out.
Yeah.
But let's talk about my favorite scene, which is one of the first scenes we get where Robin Hood and Little John walk through the forest and they see the
Everyone rolled their eyes.
the,
Go
ro-
ahead.
the royal
Caravan.
carriage
Okay.
van. Carriage
You
van.
heard her say caravan. So it's like carriage.
Carriage works. Go ahead.
And they're like, yeah, we're going to rob it. So
Mhm.
they do, and then they dress up like
So
women.
they do, yes. They dress in
Well,
drag.
They dress in drag, which is
Very convincing drag.
hilarious. And they're going to tell Prince John his fortune. And Sir Hiss the whole time was like, come on, no, they're trying to steal your money. But he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to him. He puts him in a basket. It's so sad. Poor Sir Hiss. I like Sir Hiss. He was probably my favorite character.
Because he was smart, but
Smarmy.
nobody believed that he was.
He was pretty ingenious. At one point, he got himself into a balloon and started flailing
Flying.
his tail to fly
Okay,
around.
that was intense. I was like, I would never have thought of that, Sir Hiss. You go, Sir Hiss.
Yeah, he's an engineer. That
Yeah.
dude.
So that was a funny scene.
Well, usually advisors are smarter than their
Yes.
You know,
it
they're
really
rulers.
grossed me out though when Prince
liege.
John is like, kiss the royal hands. I'm like, no, nobody wants to do that.
Well, of course they don't want to, but they have
Yeah.
to.
It's
That's the thing
disgusting. I don't
about
want to
them
kiss the
being
royal
royal
hands.
hands.
Well, when he did that, didn't he like
Yeah,
the
he
jewels up?
he sucked up some
Yeah.
diamonds. He got some sapphires.
He needed to get his prongs tightened.
Yeah, man. He did that so easily. Or maybe Lil John, he just got like great suction.
That's even
Please
worse.
stop.
You guys, it's a Monday night and we're very tired, okay?
So the funniest thing about this whole thing is if you think about it, there's really like 4 scenes. Like I know that sounds weird, but like
It kind of is.
this first one
Yes.
is like
The first robbery.
the first robbery. The second one is like, I've been robbed. Let's do a archery tournament,
Yeah.
right? To
Yeah,
lure in
so-
Robin Hood.
So
Right.
he's trying to lure in Robin Hood
because he realizes he's been
Yes.
swindled.
So he's very, very mad. He's upset. And
He's mad. He's really, really mad.
I'm telling you, this is so off topic, but if you guys haven't watched Shrek in a while, do yourself a favor and go watch it.
I watched it like 2 months ago, and I almost rewatched it
It's
right
on
after.
Netflix,
So
and
funny.
it's one of the best movies ever. I know it's not Disney,
It
but
holds
it's,
up too. It's amazing.
God,
Oh.
it's fabulous. Anyways,
I
yes.
think it's one of Eddie Murphy's best roles.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah, I like him in that more than I like him in Mulan.
For sure.
little tenderness.
Just love that romantic crap. Anyway,
Paw face must be the best thing on the whole damn planet.
Do like it.
guys, stop it. This is a Disney podcast. The DreamWorks police are gonna come get us.
The best part is that's them making fun of Disney. Hardcore.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
That place is
The best.
Disneyland. All the lines, you can see the rope lines.
Anywho, moving along. No
Oh,
more
I'm
Shrek.
dying. I want to
Okay.
watch it after this.
So, archery tournament. They gather all the best archers in the land, and the best archer will win a kiss from Maid Marian. Who did she set that up? Cause who's decided that she
I'm
was
pretty
the
sure
prize?
Prince John did.
She had zero say in who would be kissing her or that she would be kissing in general.
Gross.
But she was hoping that he would come and sweep her off her feet
Right.
again. And that, does he know that I still love him?
She literally was like, Robin Hood better win because my lips are primed and ready for him.
Yeah, she's fiending for a Robin Hood.
yeah, she misses
So,
him.
Robin Hood comes and he dresses up like a bird, which is pretty convincing,
Yeah.
honestly.
Cause like he's just like walking on sticks, right?
Yes.
And he's got a big old
beak.
beak.
And honestly,
and a
in
funny hat.
this moment, you realize how good of an archer he really is.
Yes.
Like they do a good job of making him still like a very amazing archer. Like he's really good at it.
So in the past few years, we've had a lot of like archery in movies and stuff like that. Like
Green
it's been around in the
Arrow,
past, but there's a lot of it
Hawkeye.
now. Yeah, Green Arrow, Hawkeye, Hunger Games.
yeah.
What else? This new Robin Hood movie. there's just
That's
a lot. There's a lot of archery
stick things.
going on.
Merida.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, so it's all over the place. So I was
We
kind
like
of like
archery.
excited to see the archery in this movie, and it kind of only takes place like in this one scene. I was
Which
expecting
is fine.
Robin Hood to be whipping the bow out and pinning dudes to walls and
No,
stuff
he
like
gave
that
it
all
to
over
the
the
little.
place.
He didn't give it to the turtle. Who did he give it to?
The old
Yeah,
rabbit.
give it to the little rabbit.
The little rabbit. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was cute.
Yeah, that was.
So it's like you said, I think it's really interesting because he is on these stilts. He's completely in character as this bird thing, not even looking at the targets, and he's making them,
nailing it.
Yeah.
nailing them bullseye after
So
bullseye.
easy. All the while, Prince John is dressed up like a friggin' royal from some other city or town, and Prince John is just. Little John is dressed up like that, sorry. And Prince John is just so gullible and naive
Oh, yeah,
that he's
he
like,
falls for
oh,
it
come sit
immediately."
next to me.
He's completely taken with
and
Lil
Sir
Jon.
Hiss got demoted. It was sad.
Little John, played by the same guy from Jungle Book, Baloo. What's that dude's name? I lost it. I thought I had.
Which one's the Thomas O'Malley? O'Malley the alley cat.
Baloo, right?
Wait,
Little
are all
John.
three of those the same guy?
I think so.
Hang on, one moment. Okay, so Phil Harris plays Little John, a bear. He plays Thomas O'Malley from the Alley Cats.
And-
From the
Aristocats.
Aristocats,
From
he's
the
the
Alley
alley
Cats.
cat.
From the
The Alley
Aristocats.
Cat strikes
And
back.
he plays Baloo the bear in the Jungle Book.
Well,
Yeah,
there you go.
He's all three of them.
He's got a very
Boom, boom,
noticeable
boom.
voice.
Alexander Lacey, Joseph
the
Casey, Thomas O'Malley.
O'Malley.
O'Malley
the Alley Cat.
My fave.
So after Robin Hood wins the tournament, he gets his smooch. He has to take off his beak. Does he take off the beak?
He doesn't get a smooch.
He gets
doesn't
caught
get the
before
smooch.
that.
That's right.
When he wins, he
I
gets
was-
caught.
That was hopeful thinking.
Hold on. Sir Hiss is real mad, and he gets out of that basket, pops himself in a balloon, and whips his
Starts
tail back
helicoptering
and
his
forth.
way around.
Helicopter tail.
He then realizes through his that Robin is Robin
Right.
in the
Disguise.
Raven outfit. And he does not get to kiss his maid Marian. But it's really interesting because Maid Marian is immediately like, please pardon him. No, do
Right,
not.
yeah.
And then
Don't
he's
hurt him.
like, why? And Maid Marian's like, because I love him. And you're like, okay.
Oh, okay. But
Sup,
Mary,
girl?
Thought you liked Robin Hood. What you out here liking birds?
And then she asks Robin, Prince John asks, and does the prisoner love you back?
And he's like, yes, I do. More than anything. Something like that.
Everything in the whole world, my love. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Swoon. Andre, you just got married. You didn't say that line.
I didn't.
You need to back it up, bro.
Sorry. I should have watched this movie before I got married. That would have been in there.
But yes. So we realize very quickly that everyone's still in love with money or another fox. And with that said, Robin gets arrested, quote unquote, but then gets out of it.
Yes.
They were going to chop his head off right there, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
right.
they were.
Yeah. He said like immediate,
Decapitation.
unrelenting to death or whatever.
I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, he got him good.
Unrelenting death, like you have an option.
Yeah, don't relent. But then, so they all escape into the forest. Is that correct?
Yes, they all go skipping through the forest.
They all go skipping through the forest. Robin Hood, a Little John, and Maid Marian, and Lady Cluck walking through the forest. And then,
First of all, Lady Cluck. Lady Cluck beat some booty. She's fighting in there. Fighting those
did that
people.
happen yet, or was that the next
Yes,
scene?
because they had to escape.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so Lady Cluck is a straight up linebacker, and she took a bunch of guards out.
They're like elephants and
herself.
rhinos.
Yeah, they were like rhinos and stuff. The fastest chicken I ever seen. But then, yeah, so they're in the forest, and they're having like a dance party, and this is where we see a bunch.
Well, first, no.
Of course.
Stop it. First, they escape, and they have like a little love walk through the forest, and there's like a cute little song, and they're like,
the moonlight.
when are we going to get married?
It's actually called love.
And then he's like, we're going to get married. And then she's like, when are we going to get married? And we're going to run away and blah, blah, blah. So then they go behind a fountain. And then that song ends. And she's like, it's the best night ever. And then everybody's like, woo, let's party.
Yeah, and then they have the dance party, in which we see a lot of repeated footage.
Before we get there, though, that song Love, it was nominated for an Oscar.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
1974. And
It was good. It was cute.
it was lost. It lost to The Way We Were.
From what movie? What movie was that? The Way We Were?
The Way We Were. Isn't that a Barbra Streisand song?
I don't know.
You're right. You guys aren't that kind of white. Let me look it up.
Hang on, I think I have it. Editing.
Barbra Streisand, 1973, from the movie The Way We Were.
All right, cool.
Oh, well.
Killing it, Barb.
Bruh.
Bruh.
That too.
So yes, they win. They almost won an Oscar.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of repeated footage in the dancing after that.
Yes.
I mean, there was in general. I think there was one point where the elephant, like, tooted his horn. And then the same thing happened again, like the elephant tooted his horn. But
Oh, yeah.
then we were like, what the? That was the same thing.
They like repeated the shot.
Well, that was repeating the shot from the same movie, but I think Andre's talking about repeating animation from other movies.
Yes. So they took dance moves from the Aristocats
Mm-hmm.
and the Jungle Book
Mm-hmm.
and something else.
Well, they took
I
a
can't
lot
remember.
of that
Snow White.
aristocrat.
And Snow White. That's right. That's
Mhm.
what, there were no animals, so I got confused.
Let's all.
Is this the Phony King of England song?
Yes.
Which
Okay.
was funny.
Yeah.
Because they just started making fun of Prince John.
Yeah. So apparently they use the technique called rotoscoping, where animators trace over frames of old footage to use in a different environment. So if you watch Maid Marian dancing, it's like
Duchess.
It's like
Duchess
Duchess
dancing.
from Aristocats.
and Everybody Wants to Be a Cat, and the Snow White animals.
When she's like doing the twirl.
Mhm. The Snow White animals are the rest of the animals.
Yes.
So it's really interesting to see how that all plays out when you watch it.
And it did feel
Over the
very
top.
similar when I was watching it, you know?
Yeah.
Even though the song was completely different,
Right,
which
yeah.
was cool.
Yeah. Different beat, same moves.
Same
Mm-hmm.
moves.
The phony king of England.
I mean, that happens every time I go out to a club and dance.
They call you the Phony King of England?
No, different songs, same moves.
Michael Jackson move.
Oh yeah.
Can I give you an interesting piece of tidbit about the Phony King of England song?
Yes, please.
Okay, so apparently it has been said but never confirmed that author Rudyard Kipling in the lyrics to this Body Pub song called the word is, I'm not allowed to say it on the podcast. The
What does it start with?
child without a father,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
King of England. And that apparently, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And okay, so that's apparently he wrote that, he like penned for the song, and they're saying that that's likely where the Phony King of England came from, was originally
From that
that
pub
song,
song.
Gotcha.
which I think is freaking hilarious.
the Jon Snow King of England. Right? Is that the word, babe?
Yes, the Johnson.
Okay,
King of England.
I didn't know what the bad word was. I had to confirm.
so there you go.
Yes.
All right.
I thought
And
that was
then-
interesting. So they stole it from a dirty song.
I'm not gonna lie. After this, the movie starts going a little bit downhill for me.
Is it because it becomes very sad
Depressing.
and depressing, or because it's like not good?
It becomes depressing, and I'm getting tired because it's not keeping me engaged.
Okay.
Like, it was a lot of going to jail and going to jail. And there was, like, a big chunk where there was, like, no Robin Hood, no Little John, no Maid
Right.
Marian.
Sure.
And so I was kind of like, huh. But after this dancing, it is funny because Sir Hiss and the Sheriff of Nottingham are, like, singing the Phony King of England song while they're counting the tax money. And he's like, that's not how it goes. It goes like this. And as Prince John walks in. Hilarious.
Yeah, that actually was quite
Clowning
hilarious.
on 'em.
So he just wants to tax them even harder now. And
Right.
take all of their money.
So yeah, I mean, Mr. King is real, or Prince, excuse me.
Yeah.
He's not a king.
You are no king.
He thinks he is. He's the steward. That's what I was trying to come up with earlier. The steward of Gondor. I'm trying to call him the
steward.
trying to call
You
him
ain't
the
no
steward
king. You
of
just a steward.
England. Anywho, long story short. Wow, that was
Figured it out, though.
Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings too much in my life.
You
Okay.
nailed it.
So anywho, long story short. It's not exactly in the timeline of where this happens, but we see Robin Hood, giving back to the poor as best as he can while all these taxes are being raised. That's where you see the cute little scene where he gives like his bow and his hat to the little rabbit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he pretends like he's a beggar in the
Yeah.
town. And
So he's doing his best to really help out the people who are being literally forced out of everything.
Yeah.
And that's like where we really get to know Friar Tuck, who is the friar of the town, of the church.
throw them in jail if they can't pay their taxes. So I guess he's not getting any more money.
Right. Like, it's not a very efficient system to just throw everybody in jail. who
Yeah, because
can't
they
pay.
ain't making more money.
Right.
Right?
3%, man.
You at least got to let them work to get them some money.
Right.
But I think it's super funny because earlier we were talking about how the animals were a good depiction of the character, but Andre and I were having a conversation about Friar Tuck before the podcast started.
So he's a badger.
He's a badger?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a badger.
So
Okay.
he's going around, he badgering people.
The whole thing.
I kind of
He's
thought
weird looking.
Yes, but apparently originally he was supposed to be a pig, and
Oh.
then Disney was like, maybe the church won't like that. Us depicting
Yeah.
it being a
Probably
pig.
a good
Right.
move.
So then instead they just make him a badgery character, badgering people for money. No.
Come on.
So that's really interesting. And apparently, similarly, the Sheriff of Nottingham was supposed to be a goat.
Yeah. Because they just wanted to try something different with like a villain character, I guess.
A goat?
Yeah,
goat.
that's not
I
very
like goats.
menacing.
Yeah. So they jump back to a wolf.
Yeah, big
Which
bad.
is- Yeah, he's definitely big and bad.
His
and a
voice,
wolf.
though, I didn't think was a good fit for the character. It wasn't a menacing voice.
Yeah.
Because who played him, or because we've heard him in other things before.
Right. I believe he was in the Aristocats. His name, the actor is Pat Buttram, and he was Napoleon. I'm the leader.
Oh.
I decide when it's time to go.
I was going to say, I'll say who's first.
Which is funny
Let's
because we said that when we were watching the movie. Now I remember that. But that is not a menacing voice to me. That is
No.
very laid back, very chill. And I guess for being
Kind
a
of
sheriff,
chill sheriff.
he was pretty chill. He was just like,
taking money.
Yeah,
from
you're
the
just
poor
walking
moms.
through.
thank you for your contribution to the crown.
Emptying
Prince
collection
John
plates and stuff.
Yeah.
agrees with you.
Takes a little bunny's birthday present.
Yeah, rude. He got one coin. He's like, I'll take that.
So sad.
Ridiculous.
So,
He's a penny pincher. Out here
Literally.
pinching pennies.
Lord knows that everyone ends up in jail, even the kids,
Yeah.
even the children. So, the idea is that Prince John and Little John and Robin Hood are going to break into
The jail.
the jail
I get
to save everyone because he hears that Friar Tuck has been arrested and is going to be hung at dawn,
Yes.
which is
that.
very
But they're
morbid.
doing that to get Robin Hood to come out.
Right.
Right. But I have no doubt that they would actually.
Yeah, they would have.
Yeah, I mean,
Hang
they building the thing to do
Right,
the thing.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, we're going to build this thing and not use it?
But there was a trap door, so or is there always a trap door?
There's always a trap door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you're right.
that's
Because
the whole
that's the
thing.
whole.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like trap door is like, ooh, maybe we can get out
Secret
of this.
escape.
Are you right?
Nah, it's just like to fall. Anyway, morbid.
Now I'm getting into the specifics. Anyway,
Yikes.
they're building the thing for the thing. And so Robin Hood and Little John are like, all right, we're going to do this. And they come up with a pretty cool system for animation. I mean, it wouldn't work in real life, I don't think. But they come up with a pretty cool way to get the prisoners out, but also get Prince John's money.
Yeah. They build a
In tandem.
ropeway conveyor.
Yeah, that.
Ropeway
A
conveyor.
ropeway conveyor.
Did you read that or did you
I
say
did.
that?
I did read that.
Oh, I was like, you came up with that?
I
That's
did not
very
come up
nice.
with that name on my own, but it's a ropeway conveyor.
Get out of here. So Robin Hood scales Prince John's bedroom, and they end up shooting arrows back and forth between the prison and Prince John's bedroom,
Mhm.
and then send sacks and sacks and sacks of jewels and money
Yeah.
back down to the prison, where they then make their escape.
Yeah.
Stack
Robin
sacks.
Hood is he's a little crazy though because he has to get every last money back, like even the one under Prince John's sleeping arm, and that's kind of what happens when he wakes up. You know.
Yeah, he could have stolen less from the rich to give to the poor,
didn't
I
want to.
suppose. But he's got to
You're
get him for all
gonna
he's
need to
worth.
call it the needy, okay? Anywho,
Still less than the rich to give to the needy. You guys aren't poor. Sorry.
he's very greedy.
He's not that greedy.
If he has to get every single morsel, maybe he is.
Yeah, I guess.
He's not going to part with a single coin.
But, you
Ooh,
know,
look,
he's-
there's another Lord of the Ringsy.
He's he's greedy for people. He's, he's nice. He's cool.
I'm greedy for the good.
Yeah, I'm greedy for good.
So
I don't remember much after this, to be quite honest.
Prince John wakes up.
Yeah,
Everything
he's
is on fire.
He in his pajamas.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
I don't know.
They must have had a escape plan that included fire.
Everything is on fire. All the people get out. Does Prince John die?
No, they capture him or something, and then they bring King Richard back, and King Richard's really mad and makes him work. Remember? He's like a prisoner.
You said you didn't remember anything after
Yeah,
this.
I
remember
remember
now.
that.
Prince Richard came back, and everything was fine and dandy.
Oh, King Richard has him in like the quarry with Hiss and the sheriff, and they're in
the
like their
vultures, yeah.
yeah, and they're in their like black and white like striped outfits, and they're
Right. Their
beating
prison
the
outfits and
they're beating the
banging
rocks
the
and
rocks,
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a thing that you have to have prisoners do. Just random labor.
Chain gang.
Like, hey, break up these rocks, dudes.
Yeah, so I don't remember how King
It's
Richard
before
comes
they had
back, but he comes back.
Jackhammers.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so
That's about it.
so in the real story, he just comes back from the Crusades, like they win.
Yes, and
They win the Crusades.
they
Like
were,
that?
Guess he was unhinged.
we won the
right?
Crusades. I'm back.
I'm
So
back.
yes, he does come back, and he is the king. And Robin Hood's like, "Yay, king!" But then he like dies not too long after that, and then Prince John usurps him because King Richard died without an heir. So then he was the actual king, and then Robin Hood had to up the ante on the no taxation without representation or whatever he's doing.
He became a lawyer and he represented the people.
You can't do this. I'm suing you for all you're worth.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That is not the truth. But it would make a good Robin in the Hood part 2.
Robin in the Hood.
Robin in the Hood.
It makes
Also-
sense though because he's Robin. But you know what I really appreciate
Oh.
is that they call him multiple times. Little John calls him Robert.
Robert.
Like it's funny because
his name's Robert.
but
His
isn't
name
it
is
Robin?
Robin. You think Robin is short for Robert?
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe.
It's hilarious because if like your name like that's like a way to say with an accent Robert, right? Robert.
Robert.
Yeah, that's what I was
But it's
thinking.
funny because he calls him Robert.
Let
And
me
his
see.
name is Robert.
That's
on
weird.
on the Robin Hood Wikipedia page,
And he calls him Rob a lot, which is also funny
That's
because
Yeah.
they
Robert,
Rob.
right? I think his name's Robert.
his aliases are Robin Hood,
Hode?
Hode, Hode, Robin of Sherwood, Robin of Locksley, Robert Fitzooth, Robin de Courtenay, Sir Robert Hode, Robert Huntingdon.
So it is short for Robert.
I don't know that it's short for Robert, but maybe that's his real name when he decided to go by
No, I
Robin.
think they try to get Hood. They're saying, hey, Robin Hood.
Robin.
So it's really spelled wrong. It's Robbin. Hood.
He's not robbing hoods, though.
Is he not?
I steal hoods from the rich and give hoods to the needy.
It just needs to say Robin. No, I thought you meant Hood like the neighborhood.
I mean, he's in the forest.
It could be Robin Forrest, Robin
It
King.
doesn't say Robin,
Robin
Forrest. It was Robin Hood.
Of Sherwood Forest. Yeah, so that's the end of the
Alright.
movie. The end. Right?
So this wasn't okay. I liked it. I thought it was cute. I might watch it again in 5 years.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
This is definitely not a movie I'm gonna
This
watch.
isn't
like,
one to go back
every
to
year.
a lot.
I don't even know if I'll watch it again. Quite honestly, like it's good, but some of these older Disney movies fall short to me. Like some of them I really really like, and others I'm just like.
But
Like
it's-
I even thought Sword in the Stone was weird, but
Well.
I liked Sword in the Stone better than this.
Yeah, I mean, this
For
came
sure.
out after The Jungle Book and The Aristocats, and I love both of those.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
rewatch those
That's
all
why
the time.
it's good, but it falls flat for me in certain aspects. It was funny because Andre and I went to Disneyland on Saturday, and we were watching Mickey and the Magical Map, and there was a guy in front of us, and he had a hat on with a feather, and we thought it was a Peter Pan hat, but then if you turned around, he had like it was like a hat he had made, you know, but there was fox ears coming out of it, and I was like, oh, it's a Robin Hood
It's
hat.
Robin Hood.
So
hat.
it kind of threw me off guard.
Also, Peter Pan and Robin Hood have very similar hats.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They got feathers.
They kind of got same outfits. If Peter Pan had a bow and arrow, I don't know that I wouldn't
was
know
a
that
fox.
that he was Robin Hood.
Peter Pan and Robin Hood.
You know what's really good?
Hmm.
Oh man, I lost it.
Oh.
Dang it! It was the song. Sing it again.
Peter Pan and Robin Hood, walking through the forest, hoodalati, hoodalati, hoodalati.
Done. Okay.
You want to go?
I remember now.
Done.
Do you know that Nick Wilde and Robin Hood are pretty much the same character?
What?
Oh.
Nick Wilde
From
from
Zootopia.
Zootopia is
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 the fox battle.
I like Nick Wilde better.
no, but like think about it. They're both like kind of outlaw-y.
It's because they're foxes.
Well, yeah, I mean
On
archetypally.
the outside of the law.
They're outside of the law, but they're doing
Taking
it for
matters into their own
Taking
hands.
popsicles from elephants,
What?
giving them to the small.
Anthropomorphic animals. Living in
Oh,
city/forests.
I like Zootopia. I want to watch that again.
I know, it's one of my favorites. But it's just interesting. I thought they were very similar type characters.
Yeah. Nick Wilde's maybe a little bit more sarcastic, I guess.
Yeah. Michelle's over here trying to sing like Wilson.
Owen Wilson and Shakira.
Oh, no.
That'll never get old. Anyways, Rotten Tomato score is interesting because it has a critic score of 52%, but an audience score over time, of course, of 81%.
So it got a 50%.
A 52%, and
No,
that's,
I mean that's half.
yeah,
it got a half.
it's certified rotten.
But the audience score is 81%, which
yes.
is
Sorry,
interesting.
I know I
It's
just
me,
kicked you. I'm
Posey.
so
And
sorry.
in what I was reading earlier, it said that it was received well. Like people liked it at the time, but it kind of fell off. Like they said, it wasn't as fun as some older movies.
Well, it's hard when that Disney movie comes out after like Aristocats and Jungle Book too.
Right.
Yeah, but I
Yes.
thought I read somewhere that it was the biggest box office total to date.
It made a lot of money. So
Yeah, at the time.
yes, at the time.
Oh, at the
So-
Not right now.
its
I was like,
budget
It didn't do better than
Insane.
Frozen. You're right.
its budget was $5 million, and it had a box office return of $32 million.
Probably because its budget was so low.
But, I mean, yeah, those are low numbers, but I mean that's more than 6 times is
Yeah, but the
budget.
budget was low.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They made a lot of money on it.
Yeah, they did.
You put in 5, get 32 back. You're gonna be happy.
You know what? You can make a lot of money off of movies that are not necessarily good.
Right.
Just saying.
And I think maybe it was just a time where people were really interested in the story, so they
Sure.
went to the they went to the movies to see it.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily mean they liked it, I
exactly
suppose.
because when
I go to see the movies a lot, and there's a lot of times I don't like them.
this movie came out in the 70s, which is before home video, really. So instead of home video, what they would do is just re-release the movie in theaters a couple of years later. So when they re-released it, it didn't make the return that they were expecting. So then they released it on VHS in like the 80s, something like that. And it's been a cult classic
Ooh,
ever since.
Delali.
Ooh, the law.
What are you going to give it, Andre Morton?
My rating for Robin Hood. There's fun stuff in this movie. There's funny stuff. There's cool stuff. I love the taking it to the man and stealing all his money and giving it to the poor. That's like a great, super cool, fun story kind of thing. But this movie in its entirety is not one that I watch often or even like really recommend too much, you know? There are a few other Robin Hood movies out there that you could probably watch that might be a little bit more exciting or whatever. So, my rating is going to be a 7.
Okay. I'm going to give this movie a 6. I liked it. It had good parts. But did I really like it that necessarily?
I liked it, but did I like it?
Like I said, I'm going to stick with my first impression. It was meh. Like, it was okay. It was a movie. I watched it.
It was a movie.
Will I watch it again? Probably not. But did I hate it? No.
No.
So I'm going to give it a 6.
All right. I thoroughly enjoyed the beginning. Which
Yeah,
is
that part was
annoying
cute.
to me because I didn't like the end.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, I was into it at first, and then I was like, this movie sucks. That
Yes.
that's not a good rating
They're
for me,
pulling like
you
a
know?
fun heist in the beginning, and then it, moves on from there.
And I feel like it could have kept some of the fun towards the end. They just went like super hard for the punch with the death and fire and everyone's in jail part. So I think that's where the discrepancy comes in for me. I will be completely honest. This is so awful of me. I realize that, but I am not a fan usually of these overtold stories. Like
Right.
like the stories that like keep coming back out. I
Yeah.
usually do not like them. And so for the beginning being as good as it was, the ending was what I was expecting. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. So
It's
like
Robin Hood again.
so you're saying like you would suggest other Robin Hood movies? I would not. I do not want to watch them. I don't want. You know
I
what?
suggest you watch Shrek and watch that little clip of Robin Hood.
Even though he's much more like schwarmy than.
He's like
hilarious.
he's like that Looney Tunes character, the skunk.
Listen, Emily doesn't like
Yeah, he's like Pepe
fairy
Le Pew.
tales, but she likes Shrek because it's fine with the overplayed fairy tales.
Well,
Well, 'cause they're making fun of
satire.
this.
Not a muffin man? Muffin man? anthropomorphic man. Oh yes, the one who lives on Drury Lane.
I'm about to title this Robin Hood / Shrek.
You should. I'll be honest. I can quote that movie.
Yeah, so could we.
Word
We did.
for word.
It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I will say I'm going to give it a 7 because they tried really hard.
Yeah.
They did a really good job in the beginning. It ended up being what I was expecting in the end, so I can't be mad at that. But like you said, I'm not going to particularly watch this again anytime soon. But I will tell you that the first time I watched it was about 5 years ago, and I remember liking it. So maybe in 5 more years, I'll be like, hey, let's revisit that movie. And then we'll assess
It's
again.
weird 'cause
Yes.
I think I gave Sword in the Stone a not so good rating, and I'm like kind of ready to revisit it because I think I might like it the second time around. But I don't know if that's gonna happen with this movie. Like I think I was like, for me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like it when I'm overtaxed.
Right, yeah.
FYI, I don't like it when I'm overtaxed.
We'd like it to let it be known that
I would like it
not
to be
We
Emily.
like the shmoney's. We like the shmoney's.
So if anyone would like to take that to the bank, I don't like to be overtaxed. Thank you.
And when's somebody gonna come back and steal from the rich and give to me, the needy?
The middle classy. How about that? Okay. The lower middle class, because that's about where we at, these
Yeah.
millennials.
Yeah.
Anywho, we wanted to give a couple shout outs.
That's right.
Shout out.
Couple shout outs to some of
Instagram
our
shout-outs.
newer listeners because
Listener.
we know that we have our longtime listeners who are a lot of our friends, and I think they put up with us,
Yeah.
and we appreciate you guys
Thanks for coming on back.
and for loving us more because you like us as people than you actually like our podcast.
Sure.
But we appreciate it when we get new listeners that we don't know
Yeah.
who actually are really enjoying us. So there was 2 different people who commented on our Wally episode through different social media. One was at Moviemation T, his Instagram.
At Movie Mation T.
Moviemation. And he said, if you like Disney films and like podcasts, then you'll love this podcast. I'm surprised they aren't more well known. They're definitely worth checking out, which I appreciate because we aren't well known. And I don't know if we're worth checking out.
I think we're worth checking out.
But we definitely like to have fun, and we like to have fun together. So I think that just transpires through, transcends through your earbuds or your speakers.
Through your earbuds.
Well, if they're listening on like earbuds,
Okay, I get it.
you get it.
They're in the forest too.
Shut up. And then we also had another listener, Disney_Logan. She said that she was checking out the Walt Vault pod today through Stitcher, and she was really enjoying our episode, which was cool. And then she ended up commenting to one of her friends or one of her followers saying that we had good chemistry, which I feel like is one
we're
of
stuck
Good.
with each other.
Yeah.
it's really unfortunate. We stuck together for life. So
Yeah.
Why are we all sad about it? I like you
I ain't
guys.
sad about it,
But
it's a thing.
I guess I'll just keep hanging out, podcasting, and talking about Disney movies.
all the things
It's
we
funny.
don't like.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
funny.
like you. I don't like me. I don't like hanging out.
This whole podcast is a sham. Everything we write,
Oh
everything
my
we've
gosh.
said has been written down. This is all a script. We're just reading off of it.
It's funny because I
It's
bought.
the worst script ever. Then
Man, can you imagine somebody writing all this?
That would be hard.
it would be hard to come up with what you say. Yes,
yeah,
it would be
I
hard.
know. One of these days,
I'll
I'm gonna-
have you know. That must be a button on the
I'm going to
keyboard.
meet someone famous, and they're just going to base a character off me, and everyone's going to love them, and I'm going to be like, yep.
What?
Anyways.
What?
That was some high hopes from Michelle.
So it's really funny because it's a new year, as you all know.
2019.
So that means I had to buy a new planner, and my planner says save money, travel often, and binge watch Disney movies on it. So
Well, there you go.
sum it up.
You're like, that's pretty much what I do. So.
So you just rip off the
That's what I
cover,
do.
throw the planner in the trash. You got it all right there.
You don't need to plan.
Bada
You got
bing,
it.
Bada boom. Speaking of binge watching Disney movies, what's the next Disney movie that we are going to watch?
We's going to do.
We's
I
going
was
to
trying to
do.
sound British and it didn't work out. Oh, I can only do Okie accents. But we are going to watch dun, 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 Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
I told Andre also one of my New Year's resolutions in 2019 is to be able to sing that part in Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious where she says it backwards. She's like, you could say blah, 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 but that would be a bit much, don't you think? I need to be able to sing that part of the song.
Yeah, by the next podcast, when the Mary Poppins podcast comes
Oh.
out, you're
Not
gonna
by
be
the end of 2019. If we're doing this episode, you got to do it
yeah, you
then.
better hurry up.
Okay, then.
I'm the leader. I say when you do it.
You better hurry up.
I'm very excited to watch Mary Poppins again. I haven't seen it in years and years and years and years and years.
I haven't seen it in forever.
But it's
either.
very fitting with Mary Poppins Returns being
I
out.
haven't seen that either.
You know what's really funny is that I watched this about probably a year or two ago.
Okay.
And I only remember because it was after the day after one of our Christmas parties that was a little cray-cray. And long story short, me and one of our podcast listeners were watching it on the couch the morning after this party, and we were looking at each other like, is this what you remember? This is cray-cray. So I'm actually really interested to watch it again because I remember loving it as a kid,
Yeah.
rewatching it a couple years ago being like, this
What's
is
happening?
weird. And then now we're going to do it. So it'll be interesting to watch it with both of those in my head. But the really cool thing about this episode that we're going to do is we are also going to double feature it with
Saving Mr. Banks.
boom.
The live action, slightly fictionalized version of the making of Mary Poppins.
Truth.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be talking about both of those. So you can go to the theater, go see Mary Poppins Returns, and then come back here and get all of your Mary Poppins needs fulfilled.
You're going to have lots of popping.
Poppin'
That Robin in the Hood.
Whoa. Yeah. So stick around for that. The Mary Poppins episode will be coming out in just a couple of weeks' time. In the meantime, if you want to keep up with us, you can go to our social media websites. We are at the Walt Vault Pod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram is the hot one. Go there first. You can send us a DM on one of those, and we'll possibly read your message on the show. Or you can send an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com, and I'll definitely read that message on the show because I check that email every day, and it's just empty. Spam email, empty. Send me an email,
I'll have
guys.
you know.
Does nobody use email anymore? Are we old? Is that why nobody sends us emails? You know what you could do? You could do a voice recording on your phone, email that to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com, and we'll play it on the show.
Oh my gosh, and you be famous.
Yeah, have your voice on the Walt Vault. A high, high honor that I cherish every week. Do that. If you want to support us, you can do it in a couple of ways. Clicking subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're on is helpful. If you write a review on iTunes, that's helpful too. That gets our show seen on the iTunes charts a little bit easier, so more people will check us out. And if you want extra content, you can go to patreon.com/thewaltvault, where we have an after show called A Crack in the Vault, where we talk about some extra stuff about these Disney movies or other stuff, whatever's on our minds at the time.
It's unfortunate sometimes.
Whatever we
there.
feel like.
Yes. I also post my notes sometimes, and we post
Not
like quizzes and
today.
stuff like that. There's fun stuff over on the Patreon, and you can get it for as little as $1 per month. So check it out. Check us out. That's been it for this week. We'll see you guys next time.
And if you listen for just 10 seconds longer, Luis will give his score on this movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I guess we'll that'll.
You know he watched it.
Oh
He
yeah.
did.
He didn't fall asleep.
Oh,
Hello?
man.
He thought about it.
He probably should have been on
We
this
watched
episode.
this the day before he went back to work, right? So he was like, "Meh."
Yeah, he was not about it.
Well, he was awake. You know, good
But he
for
was
him.
awake,
Yeah.
which is better than some people.
I
You
don't apologize.
Sleepyhead, sleepy bye, husband.
Sleepy bye, husband.
Sleepyhead, sleepy bye. Oh.
Well, isn't that what they said when the guy was in the basket in the Aristocats? A sleepy bye.
Oh yeah, that's
basket.
right. Yeah.
Anywho.
So Luis is gonna come in at the end. You'll hear it.
All right, bye.
That's it for now. The vault is now closed.
Okay, so I'm going to give this movie a 5. And that is a nice 5.
A 5 out of 10.
Yep. I would rather much have gotten up and watched paint dry for a whole hour than watch this movie. So 5.